I won't be ignored. I'll prove my worth. This is my moment!
Michael, come sit next to your cousin, my mom said, waving her hand toward Jason like I was some stray dog. I can sit anywhere, I muttered, already feeling the weight of her eyes burning into me. No here, she snapped. Next. To your father's side. You need to learn manners. Jason grinned. Don't worry, little cousin. I saved you a seat. His voice dripped with mock kindness. I clenched my fists under the table. Thanks, I said, keeping it tight. Every laugh at my expense stung. Ethan nudged me under the table. Ignore them. You don't need their approval. I know, but it still hurts, I whispered. Why does it always feel like I don't exist? Because you're invisible to them, he said bluntly. Not everyone sees the same things. We do. Dinner was a battlefield. Every comment, every laugh, every glance was a reminder. Jason's project got an A, my dad announced, smirking. Maybe some of that talent will rub off on you someday. I froze, fork in hand. Someday, I repeated quietly, tasting bile. Don't pout, Michael, my mom said, smiling too brightly. You'll get your chance. Eventually. Jason elbowed me lightly. See? They're just joking. Don't be so serious. I looked down at my plate, wishing I could disappear. Ethan's eyes met mine. Don't let them win. Later, after the dishes were cleared, my dad leaned toward me. You know, Michael, not everyone can carry the family name. Some of us are better left elsewhere. I felt the words like a punch to the gut. So, I'm not good enough? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. You'll understand when you're older, he said, dismissing me with a wave. Mom placed a hand on my shoulder. Jason has always been more suited. You'll find your own path. By erasing me? I muttered under my breath. You heard him, Ethan said quietly. They don't see your value yet, but you'll make them see it one day. I clenched my jaw. The anger was hot, sharp. I wanted to yell, to scream, to punch the nearest wall, but I forced it down. I had to survive tonight. Jason leaned back. So don't worry, Michael, maybe one day you'll be half as good as me. I wanted to tell him to shut up, to make him understand how much he hurt me, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I smiled. A fake, bitter smile. When Ethan and I finally escaped outside, the cold night hit me like a wave. I kicked at the gravel, letting the frustration out. They don't deserve to see you crumble, Ethan said. You'll be better, stronger. You'll make a name that even they can't ignore. I stared at the dark sky. The stars didn't care about family, grudges, or stolen names. I'll make them regret it, I whispered. I'll make my name bigger than theirs could ever be. And in that moment, the seed of something dangerous and necessary was planted. Did you see that, Ethan? I whispered as we walked home from school. He literally took my spot in the science fair group. Ethan shrugged. Jason's good at making people follow him. Don't let it get to you. Don't get to me? I snapped. He stole the one thing I actually cared about. Again. You need to calm down, Ethan said, putting a hand on my shoulder. Jealousy's a dangerous thing. It eats people alive. I'm not jealous. I'm tired, I muttered. Tired of being invisible? You've got talent, Michael. They just don't see it yet, Ethan reassured me. That's all. The next morning at school, Jason was already surrounded by our classmates, laughing and showing off his latest project. Michael, come look at this, one of the kids called. I forced a smile. Looks great, Jason. You think so? He said, grinning. I made it all by myself. Ethan leaned in. Don't let him play with your head. You'll get your chance. I swallowed my frustration. It feels like they all only care about him. Because your parents set the tone, Ethan said quietly. They praise him, ignore you, and everyone else just follows. It's a cycle. That evening, family dinner was worse than usual. Jason got the highest score in math this semester, Dad announced proudly. Michael, perhaps you should take some notes. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. I did study, I said softly, but no one listened. Mom laughed. Oh, sweetheart, it's okay. Not everyone can be brilliant. Jason leaned back, smug. See? Even Mom admits it. Don't encourage them, Jason, I hissed under my breath. You should take it as motivation, he said, pretending to be friendly. I'm sure you'll do better next time. Ethan, sitting across from me, gave me a look that said he knew exactly how I felt. Later in my room, I paced back and forth. Why do they always favor him? Is it his smile? His charm? What do I have to do? Nothing for them, Ethan said, leaning against my doorframe. But you can do everything for yourself. Focus on that. I feel powerless, I admitted. Like no matter what I do, they'll never notice me. You're not powerless, Ethan insisted. You just haven't decided to fight yet. The thought hit me hard. Fight? Against my own family? Against Jason? My chest tightened. Could I even win? Yes, Ethan said firmly, but not by playing their game, by making your own, by making your name matter. I sank onto my bed, staring at the ceiling. I don't even know where to start. Start small, he said. One step, one win at a time. Let them watch you grow instead of ignoring you. I guess, I muttered. But it still hurts, seeing him get everything I wanted. That's betrayal, Michael, Ethan said. It stings because it's intentional. They made a choice. You just have to decide how to respond. I clenched my fists. One day they'll see me. They'll see that I don't need their approval, that I can rise above. And when that day comes, Ethan said, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing it's on your terms, not theirs. A flicker of determination sparked inside me. The shadows of betrayal were heavy, but they were mine to step out of. Looked at my reflection in the mirror. I will rise, I whispered. I will make them notice me, whether they like it or not. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about jealousy anymore. This was about survival, about proving to the world and myself that my worth wasn't determined by their favoritism. Michael, your project isn't ready for the science fair, Mom said, flipping through my notes as if they were meaningless scraps. What? Mom? I've been working on this for months, I shouted, my hands shaking. It's too ambitious, she said calmly. Maybe you should have asked for help from someone more experienced. You mean Jason? I muttered under my breath. Dad nodded. Sometimes little things are best left to those with talent. Don't be discouraged, son. I'm not discouraged, I snapped, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm furious! Jason strolled in, grinning like he owned the place. Need a hand, Michael? I've got a few tips. Don't touch it, I hissed. It's mine. Relax, he said. I'm just trying to help. But maybe they're right. Maybe it's over your head. My chest tightened. Over my head. Over my head. I've done every calculation, every test. This is mine. Ethan appeared in the doorway. Step outside, he said softly. Don't let them see you lose control. I followed him, slamming the door behind me. They're destroying it. Ethan, everything I worked for. Your parents? That's messed up, he said quietly. You're supposed to be supported, not sabotaged. I know, I shouted, pacing. I trusted them. I believed they wanted me to succeed, and now look at this. I gestured toward the door. Ethan put a hand on my shoulder. Then it's on you. You can't count on anyone else, not them, not Jason. Only you. I feel powerless, I admitted, sinking onto the steps outside. Like I've been punched in the gut. That's betrayal, Ethan said. But it's also a chance you rebuild better than before. I shook my head. How? They've set me back months. Maybe I was never meant to have a name in this family. Maybe not in theirs, he corrected. but you can make your own, and they'll have no choice but to see it. The next day, I met Mr. Harrison in his office. I heard about what happened, he said, closing the door behind me. This isn't the end, Michael. It's the beginning. How can you say that? My parents sabotaged me. They don't care about me at all. Exactly, he said. You've been relying on their approval. Now you realize you don't need it. You have your own potential, raw, untapped. That's what matters. I looked at him, the anger still simmering. It doesn't feel like potential. It feels like defeat. Defeat is only what you make of it, he said, leaning forward. You can let them define you, or you can define yourself. That's the choice. I clenched my fists. I can't just let them win. I won't. I'll show them I'm not invisible. That's the spirit, he said. But you need strategy, patience, and work. Don't burn bridges. Build a path they can't ignore. Walking home, I replayed the scene over and over. Every word, every smirk, every dismissive glance. My parents had tried to crush me, and I had almost let them. Ethan met me at the corner. You okay? He asked. No, I admitted. But I'm done feeling helpless. They won't control me anymore. Not Jason, not Mom and Dad. No one. That's the fire I wanted to see, Ethan said, grinning. Finally. You're taking the first step toward your own name. I looked up at the sky, feeling something fierce ignite inside me. I'll make my name bigger than theirs, bigger than anyone's, and they'll have no choice but to see it. No excuses, no delays. I'll rise and I'll do it alone if I have to. Ethan clapped my shoulder. That's the Michael I know. Now let's start rebuilding. I nodded, my chest tight but resolute. This was it, the breaking point. Everything else would be consequences of what I decided tonight, and for the first time, I knew I wouldn't fail. I can't stay here anymore, I told Ethan as I packed my bag. Every look, every word from them, it's poison. You sure about this? He asked, concern etched on his face. I have to be, I said. I need to do this on my own. I need to make them see me. Really see me. All right, Ethan said reluctantly. Just promise me you'll be careful. I will, I replied, zipping up my bag. The weight of it was nothing compared to the weight lifting from my chest. I left that night, walking through the empty streets feeling both terrified and free. I never realized how heavy their judgment was, I muttered to myself. But I'm done carrying it. The next morning, I wandered into a small co-working space. A group of young entrepreneurs was arguing over a project. I stood awkwardly, unsure if I belonged. Hey, you're new, someone said, eyeing me. Do you even know what you're doing? I want to learn, I admitted. I have ideas, I just need guidance. Sophia appeared from behind a desk. I think he's serious, she said to the group. Let's see what he's capable of. I looked up at her. Wait, you're helping me? I help people who actually want to try, she said, crossing her arms. If you're lazy or whining, go home. I'm not lazy, I said firmly. I'm here to prove myself, to build something they can't ignore. Good, she said, a spark of approval in her eyes. Then start now. Watch, listen, and learn. The next few days were brutal. I made mistakes constantly. You forgot the calculation again, Sophia said sharply. Do it over! I'm trying, I said, frustration rising. I've never done this before. Then do it correctly this time, she shot back. Mistakes are fine. Repeating them is not. Ethan called me one night. How's it going? Terrible, I admitted. I'm failing more than Jason ever did. But it feels different. I feel alive trying. Good, he said. That's the fire you needed. Keep it. As weeks passed, I learned to handle rejection, criticism, and failure without collapsing. My confidence grew, subtle but undeniable. See, you're getting it, Sophia said one afternoon. You're thinking ahead, predicting reactions. That's strategy. I just don't want anyone to ignore me again, I said, looking down at my hands. You won't be, she replied. But power isn't loud. It's quiet, precise, and unstoppable. That's how you win. Later, I watched a minor competitor stumble, boasting to the wrong people. I didn't intervene at first. Then I offered a small suggestion that corrected their mistake. Quietly. Sophia smirked. Good. Subtle payback is better than flashy revenge. Let them see you rising while they fail. I nodded, feeling the first thrill of control. It wasn't about hurting anyone. It was about building myself so I could never be dismissed again. Walking home that evening, I whispered to the empty streets, "This is only the beginning. Every skill I learn, every step I take, it's mine. And one day they'll realize I didn't need them at all." Ethan's words echoed in my mind. "You'll have your name. Make them see it." I clenched my fists. I will. I'll make them watch, and they'll understand. Michael Carter is a name they can't erase. The journey had just begun, but for the first time in my life, I felt capable. I wasn't invisible anymore. "Michael, you're late again," Lucas said as I walked into the workshop, papers spilling from my bag. "Sorry," I said, catching my breath. "I had to finish a client pitch." Lucas shook his head. "You're moving too fast, but I like it. Energy counts for something." "I don't want to waste any time," I said, setting my notes down. "Every step matters now." "You sound serious," he said, smiling. "Good. That's the attitude that separates winners from wannabes." Later, I ran into Jason online during a competition forum. His comment was blunt. "Bet you'll crash and burn, little cousin," he typed. I stared at the screen. "You never learn, do you?" I typed back. "This isn't about you, it's about me." He laughed in text emojis. "Sure, good luck with that. You'll need it." Lucas leaned over my shoulder. "Ignore him. Let him underestimate you. That's exactly what you want." "I know," I said, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "But it still stings." Days passed with long hours and minor victories. One of my early clients praised my initiative. "Michael, your solution saved us thousands," the client said. "I've never had someone handle this so efficiently." I felt a rush of pride. "Thank you," I said. "I just want to do my best." Lucas grinned. "See? You're starting to get noticed. Word spreads fast in this field." "You think my parents heard?" I asked quietly. "I mean, would they even care?" "They're always watching, even if they pretend not to," Lucas said. "But you can't dwell on that. Focus on the climb." The next challenge came in the form of a small online competitor. They mocked my work publicly. "Michael Carter thinks he's ready for the big leagues," one post read. I clenched my fists. "Let them talk," I muttered. "Let them see what happens when words meet action." Lucas nodded. "Exactly. Small victories now lead to bigger ones later. That's how reputations are built." That evening, I called Ethan. "You won't believe what just happened. My post went viral. People are noticing my work." "Finally," he said. "It's about time the world sees you." "But it feels strange," I admitted. "I'm proud, but part of me feels guilty, like I'm rubbing it in their faces." "Don't think like that," Ethan said. "You're building yourself, that's all. You're not responsible for their feelings or their mistakes." I looked at the ceiling, thinking of Jason's smug grin. He still thinks I'll fail. Mom and Dad probably still ignore me, but now, maybe they're starting to hear whispers. Lucas clapped me on the shoulder. "They're hearing more than whispers. You're climbing faster than they expect." I don't want to lose focus," I said. "Every small win feels like fuel, but I can't let it distract me from the bigger goal." "That's exactly why you'll succeed," Lucas said. "Ambition needs discipline. Keep moving, and nothing can stop you." Days turned into weeks. My reputation grew quietly but steadily. Clients, colleagues, even minor competitors began to acknowledge me. Each success was a small arrow, piercing the illusion that Jason or my parents held over me. I see it now, I whispered one night to myself. Every step, every small victory, it's building me. It's proving that I can rise without their approval, that I don't need them to make my name matter. Lucas smiled from the side. Exactly. You're climbing, Michael. Keep it up. One day, they won't recognize the world you've built, and you'll be standing at the top. I nodded, a mix of pride and guilt swirling inside me. I'll get there, and when I do, they'll have to see it. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I earned it. And for the first time, I felt the thrill of rising. Not just surviving, but truly climbing. I heard what happened at the office, Lucas said as we walked through the park. Jason's big presentation tanked. I smirked quietly. Finally, some cracks are showing. Lucas frowned. Don't get too excited. That's just the start. People fail all the time, but the pattern, it's interesting. What do you mean? I asked, curious. His arrogance, his carelessness. He's leaving clues for everyone to see. Even your parents might notice. Eventually. I bit my lip. I wonder if they'll ever realize it's their own favoritism that's making him stumble. Sophia joined us. Patience, Michael. Karma works better when you don't interfere. Let them dig their own holes. I know, but I almost want to confront them, I admitted. Tell them everything I know. Expose Jason's lies. And ruin the moment? Sophia said. No. Let it unfold. You'll get the satisfaction naturally. That evening, I snuck into the family gathering under the pretense of visiting relatives. I stayed in the shadows, listening. Jason laughed, a little, too loud. I got the deal signed, just like I said I would. Excellent work, Jason, Dad said, clapping. You really are the pride of the family. I felt a knot form in my stomach as I listened closely. Then, I overheard Jason on a phone call, voice hushed. Don't worry about the contract, he said. I'll handle the details. They'll never know I messed up a clause. My jaw tightened. So he's lying? He's sabotaging the deal? Mom leaned in. I always knew you were talented, Jason, just like I hoped. I felt anger and disbelief swirling inside me. They were praising him, unaware he was deceiving them. Lucas whispered in my ear, See? Karma's working, Michael, you just have to wait. But they'll find out eventually, I said. And I feel like I should tell them? Don't, Sophia said firmly. If you intervene, you ruin the lesson. Let them feel it themselves. That's the power of natural consequence. I exhaled, torn. My instincts screamed to confront them, but a deeper part of me understood. Watching the truth reveal itself would be stronger than me shouting it out. Jason's friends, oblivious to his mistakes, cheered. Jason's the man. He nailed it, smiled grimly. And yet it's all built on lies. Every smile, every clap, it's hollow. Exactly, Lucas said. And when the truth hits, it will hit harder because they trusted him blindly. I wandered toward the edge of the garden, shaking my head. It's strange, I muttered. I want revenge. I want justice, but part of me wants to see them learn on their own. Sophia placed a hand on my shoulder. That's the difference between chaos and control. You're building power. They're tripping over theirs. I watched Jason laugh again, thinking he was untouchable. I felt a quiet satisfaction mixed with moral hesitation. I guess I have to wait, I said softly. Let them stumble. Let the truth come out on its own, and when it does, they'll know I was right all along. Lucas nodded. Exactly. This is patience, strategy, and restraint. Not everyone can handle it. I clenched my fists, the fire inside me growing. One day, they'll see me not as the ignored kid, but as the one who played it smart, the one who survived while everyone else tripped over themselves, Sophia smiled. And that day, Michael, will be yours. Michael, did you see the headlines? Ethan called as I walked into the cafe. I grinned, holding up my phone. Yeah, the article went live. People are actually talking about my project. That's huge, he said, punching my shoulder. Finally, they can't ignore you. I know, I said, but my excitement was mixed with tension. I just hope... Well, I wanted to make a difference, not just noise. Sophia appeared, arms crossed, looking proud but cautious. It's impressive, Michael. But remember, visibility attracts both allies and enemies. Don't get reckless. I'm aware, I said. But I can't hold back anymore. I've waited too long. Lucas joined, carrying a stack of notes. People are starting to recognize your influence. Some competitors are panicking. I've already handled a few attempts to discredit you. Handled? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Quietly, Lucas said. Subtle, strategic. No fireworks. That's how power grows without blowing up. I nodded, feeling a rush of control. This is what it feels like, to finally be taken seriously. Exactly, Ethan said, grinning. You're no longer invisible. Jason and your parents can't just brush you off anymore. Speaking of Jason, I caught him at the launch event trying to charm the crowd. I approached, voice calm but firm. Little cousin, he said with a smirk. I didn't think you'd actually make it this far. I told you, I said quietly. I don't need anyone's permission to succeed, including yours. Jason's grin faltered slightly. We'll see how long this lasts. I laughed softly. I've been underestimated for too long. Not this time. Later, I spotted my parents in the corner, whispering to each other, glances darting nervously. My chest tightened. They're noticing, I muttered. Sophia's hand on my shoulder steadied me. Good. But don't let pride make you careless. Let them realize it on their own. Ethan leaned in. I can't believe this is happening. You're actually here, taking the spotlight they denied you for years. I have to be smart, I said. Every move counts. One mistake, and it could all crumble. Lucas smiled. Don't worry, I've got your back. Competitors, critics, even Jason, they'll all be managed quietly. You focus on growth, not drama. I looked out at the crowd, feeling the energy shift. People were talking to me, listening to me. The influence I'd built was visible, undeniable. Michael, my dad said, approaching carefully. We didn't expect you to... I raised a hand, cutting him off. Save it. I've earned this. Not because of you, not because of Jason, because I worked for it. Mom's lips pressed into a thin line. We underestimated you. You sure did, I said, meeting her eyes. And now you're seeing the result. Not someone following your rules, but someone carving their own path. Jason shifted uncomfortably nearby, losing some of his confident posture. Ethan whispered, Look at them. They're realizing what we've known all along. I took a deep breath, exhilaration and satisfaction mingling with the tension in my chest. This was the power shift. Not loud, not destructive. Calculated, undeniable, and finally public. Sophia smiled knowingly. This is only the beginning. They've seen a glimpse, but the full picture. That comes later. I nodded. I'll make sure they never underestimate me again. Not Jason, not Mom and Dad, not anyone. And in that moment, I felt it. The quiet thrill of rising, of controlling my narrative while the old power structure trembled around me. I watched from the corner of the office, sipping my coffee as Jason fumbled through his presentation. Michael, can you fix this? I think I messed up the numbers, he whispered to a colleague, panic in his eyes. I leaned back, hiding a smirk. Looks like the empire you built on lies is cracking, I muttered under my breath. Lucas nudged me. Patience. Let it unfold. Naturally. No interference. Jason stood in front of the boardroom, confident as ever. Everything is under control, he declared, voice loud. Under control? One client asked skeptically. These projections don't make sense. Did you check the data? He faltered, hesitated, then stumbled over his words. We'll adjust it immediately. I felt a quiet thrill. Every hesitation, every misstep. It was karmic precision, unfolding exactly as it should. Later, my parents called, voices trembling. Michael, we heard about Jason's mistakes. Is it true? I inhaled slowly. Yes. It seems their choices have consequences. Dad groaned. How could we have been so blind? Mom's voice wavered. We trusted him, Michael. We didn't realize he was dishonest. I warned you, I said quietly, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and sorrow. I've said it before, but now you see for yourselves. Jason stormed past me in the hallway later. Michael, this isn't over. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I interrupted calmly. Your arrogance blinded you. You ignored warnings, and now you're falling. He clenched his fists. You were always jealous. That's why you stayed quiet. Not jealous, I said softly. I was waiting, watching, calculating. And now it's your turn to see the consequences. Lucas appeared beside me. Don't engage more than you have to. Let karma finish the work. I nodded, knowing restraint was more satisfying than confrontation. Later, I overheard Jason on the phone, desperation creeping into his voice. I'll fix it, I swear. No, they can't fire me. I smiled quietly. The web he'd spun so confidently was unraveling thread by thread. At home that evening, my parents were silent, the weight of realization heavy in the air. Michael, Dad said, voice low, we favored the wrong person. You were right all along. Mom added, we didn't see your efforts, your strength. And we feel guilty. I swallowed the surge of satisfaction. I forgive you, I said carefully. Not because it fixes anything, but because holding on to resentment won't help anyone. They looked at me, stunned. Forgive us? Mom repeated. Yes, I said firmly. But understand this. I don't need your approval anymore. I've built my own path. I've earned my name. Jason's defeat became public the next day. Clients pulled back, colleagues whispered, rivals smiled. The arrogance and manipulation that once protected him now became his downfall. I caught Lucas grinning. It's perfect, he said. Calculated, patient, just as we planned. I know, I replied, watching Jason shrink under the weight of his failures. It's not revenge, it's justice. Karma, subtle and inevitable, Ethan called. Later that night. You did it, Michael. You let them fall, but you didn't become them. I smiled, exhaustion and satisfaction mingling. Exactly. And now, my name isn't just known. It's respected. Finally. As I lay in bed, the quiet thrill of control and the peace of patience washed over me. Jason had fallen, my parents had realized their mistake, and I had risen, without losing myself in the process. I stood at the doorway taking a deep breath. Mom and Dad were seated, Jason lounging as if he still had control. My allies, Ethan, Sophia, and Lucas, stood quietly behind me. I want to talk, I said, voice steady. All of you. Now. Dad looked up, startled. Michael, what is this? I've waited long enough for your recognition, I said, pacing slowly. But I'm not asking for it anymore. I'm here to set the record straight. Mom's hands trembled. Michael, Stop, I interrupted. Don't apologize yet, just listen. Jason, you're smiling, thinking this is a joke. It's not. Jason smirked nervously. I don't know what you mean. I've done everything right. Everything right? I said, voice rising. You lied, manipulated, and still expected applause. And my parents? You praised him, ignored me, and gave him the name, the attention, the future I should have had. Jason's grin faltered. I didn't think. You didn't think, I repeated, letting it hang in the air. And now you see the consequences. Dad's face reddened. We underestimated you. We thought Jason was better. And you were wrong, I said firmly. I've spent years learning, failing, and building myself. You ignored me, and now the world has noticed me. Not him. Me. Mom whispered, We didn't see your potential. You didn't want to see it, I said softly. But I did. I had to. Every late night, every rejection, every insult, it shaped me, not broken me. Jason shifted uncomfortably. Michael, maybe we can fix this. No, I said, cutting him off. There's nothing to fix. The lesson was for you, not me, and the lesson is over. Ethan stepped forward. Michael's right. You've had your chance to dominate and manipulate. The world saw through it. Lucas added, Your arrogance couldn't cover the truth forever. Sophia's voice was calm, precise. And now, Michael stands where you thought only Jason could be. Stronger, smarter, respected, not by chance, by effort. Jason looked at me, a flicker of fear in his eyes. But I'm your cousin, your family. Family isn't about blind approval, I said. It's about respect, effort, and integrity, and you failed at all three. Dad's voice cracked. We thought we were helping him, helping Jason. We didn't realize you were helping your pride, not your child, I said quietly, letting it sink in. And now you're paying the price of your own choices. Jason's head hung low. I didn't mean... It doesn't matter what you meant, I said. Intent doesn't erase consequences. You made your choices. I made mine. And now I rise. I turned to my allies. I didn't do this alone. I learned, I adapted, I grew. But this moment, this is mine. My name, my legacy. No one's approval, no one's manipulation can take it away. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Michael, we see it now. We understand. We're sorry. Truly. I forgive you, I said softly. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means I move forward without bitterness, without holding on to what you denied me. Jason muttered, almost to himself. I never expected... I shook my head. You should have. But now it's too late. This is the end of your control, the end of favoritism, the end of underestimating me. I felt a surge of liberation, a rush of triumph. Years of pain, struggle, and determination culminated in this moment. I am Michael Carter, I said aloud, voice strong, resonant. Not because of a name you gave me, not because of anyone's approval, but because I earned it. And now, I own it. Fully. Silence filled the room. My parents, Jason, and even my allies watched me, the weight of the moment settling. I took a deep breath, letting it out slowly. The confrontation was over, the reckoning complete, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly free. I walked into my office, the walls lined with awards, letters of recognition, and snapshots of milestones I had fought for. Each one was a reminder, not of what I had lost, but of what I had earned. Michael, you made it! Ethan's voice rang out as he entered, clapping me on the shoulder. I made it, I said quietly, smiling at the pile of letters on my desk. Each one was a note of appreciation, a client praising my work, a colleague acknowledging my efforts. And I did it without anyone's permission. You've changed everything, he said, eyes gleaming. People know your name now. They respect it, I chuckled. They know it, yes. They respect it. Well, some still try, but it doesn't matter anymore. I've learned what really counts. Lucas leaned against the doorway, casual as ever. And you've handled every challenge with patience. Even your rivals who tried to undermine you, done quietly, strategically, that's the Michael Carter. Legacy in action. Sophia stepped in, nodding. You've grown in every sense. Your skill, your mind, and your restraint. You didn't just survive, Michael, you thrived. I picked up a framed letter, worn at the edges. This was the first letter from a client who actually trusted me. After everything, it feels surreal. I can finally see how far I've come. Surreal, No, you earned it, Sophia said. Every late night, every failure, it built this reality. I sighed, looking out the window. Even my parents, they called last week. Apologies, regrets, all of it. But it doesn't change the past, and I can't let it taint the present. Ethan nodded. They can't undo history, but you created a future where your name matters more than any mistake they made. I picked up my phone, dialing Mom first. Michael, her voice trembled. Mom, I said softly. I've heard your words. I know you regret your choices, but I need you to understand. I don't need approval anymore. I needed to be seen, and I made myself seen. That's enough. Silence followed for a moment, heavy and reflective. I understand, she whispered. We're proud, even if we failed to show it before. And that's enough, I said. I forgive. Not because I owe you anything, but because holding on to that resentment would only hold me back. Then I spoke to Dad. I hope you've learned something from all this, I said. Favoritism, arrogance. They don't protect anyone. They only create enemies, and you nearly lost me entirely. I know, Michael, he said quietly. We see it now. I ended the call and leaned back, feeling a strange relief wash over me. Closure didn't mean everything was perfect. It meant I could move forward unburdened, my name unshaken. Jason, too, had faded from my daily concerns. He had tried to claw, back pride. But the world saw through him. His fall had been necessary for my rise, but I felt no glee in it. It was justice, natural, and inevitable. I glanced around the room again. Every trophy, every letter, every photo of a milestone was a symbol. The late nights studying, the mistakes I corrected, the patience I practiced, it all added up to a life I had carved with my own hands. Lucas raised an eyebrow. Looking proud of yourself, are we? I am, I admitted. Because I finally understand the truth. My worth was never tied to their recognition. My loyalty, my effort, my name, that's mine to define, Ethan smiled. And you've defined it well. Legendary, even. Sophia's eyes softened. The Michael Carter they ignored is gone. This one, he's unstoppable, respected, and independent. That's real victory. I walked to my desk, picking up a small notebook, pages filled with ideas, plans, dreams. Every step was a lesson. Loyalty matters. Betrayal teaches. Self-worth. That's the ultimate prize. I've learned it, lived it, and now I can enjoy it fully. I sat down, feeling the weight of the past lift. The struggles, the humiliations, the anger, all of it led to this. A life built on my effort, my skill, and my patience. I whispered to myself, a vow and a celebration all at once. Michael Carter isn't just a name, it's a legend. A life I chose, a legacy I built, and nothing, not even my parents' mistakes or Jason's arrogance, can take it from me. The room felt warm, the quiet hum of accomplishment settling over me. I had risen, not just above those who doubted me, but above my own fears, my own limitations, and in that moment, with letters, trophies, and memories surrounding me, I finally felt free, triumphant, whole, and ready for whatever came next.